Hey guys, so welcome to episode 2. I figured after the very dry and extended length in between since the first episode, my disclaimer more or less, that I should come out maybe with a more exciting subject. So I'm going to share with you my Dakar experience. It's probably not what you expect. So I wanted to kind of show people what it's like behind the scenes in motorsport. And so there is no racing. Like, you're not going to see racing. Sorry, I don't get to see racing. And I think that's kind of like a misconception. You know, I get to travel the world and, go to these really cool places, but like, I don't get to watch a lot of the racing. There was even one point in the trip where we had no Wi-Fi and people at home were able to see what was going on before we knew. So I'm sorry, like, you're not gonna see racing, but you're gonna see what it was like behind the scenes to transit from each BVAC to BVAC. So just some things to keep in mind. This was my very first ever off-roading experience. I've only done rallycross before this. This was very new to me, so words like prologue, marathon, like this was all totally new. I had no idea what these words were. So I'll explain a little bit of that throughout the video. You'll meet my friend Carlos. He was a huge support in this because he was like my go-to guy of like explaining how this all worked. One thing that we kind of also touched on is the T5 class. So one thing that I kind of wanted to point out that I don't think was really fully explained was the T5s. Those are the big trucks, and like that's how I first learned about Dakar. I think it was like YouTube, and I'm like watching these giant trucks going through these sand dunes. Like, what the hell is this? So that's how I learned about Dakar, was through these trucks. Well, I've learned that these trucks, though technically entered to race, most of them are not actually race trucks. So part of the rules in Dakar is if you are on the course and your car breaks, the only people that can help you are other competitors. So these teams will actually enter in these giant T5 trucks, load them up with spare parts that you can't fit into whatever vehicle you're racing, diffs, gearboxes, whatever. And then they'll go out and come in behind, because the T5 trucks are the last ones to leave the line. So they're essentially sweeping the course. So if you're in the shit, then you just gotta wait for your T5 to show up, and they'll come out and they'll help you if your other competitors weren't able to stop. What's another thing? I was able to go to Germany. So X-Raid is based in Germany, and that's kind of how I got connected with them. They're only about 40 km from the Hyundai workshop. So motorsport's small, so that's how I got connected with them. And so I was in Germany, got familiar with the vehicles, and that's when I learned that actually X-Raid is it's a huge team. It's huge. So I think we all in all traveled with about 250 different people. So you have the X-Raid supported Yamaha team. That was the team that I worked with. Then you've got X-Raid's Mini Cooper team. So they have Mini Coopers. So you'll see some guys wearing like Mini Cooper t-shirts with the X-Raid logo. So we're all still the same team. And then you have Q Motorsport, and Q Motorsport is the Audi team for Dakar. So they were all owned by the same guy. So there were essentially 3 different teams, and we all traveled as one big group together. So that kind of, explains why you'll see Audis, why you'll see Mini Coopers, and stuff like that. I think that's about it. Yeah, so you're gonna open up the episode here. You're gonna see kind of like a suggested list of items to bring. I was on my very first ever chartered flight, so it was like a 737, and every single person on this plane was with the team, not a random person. So it was kind of cool flying on a jet with a bunch of people that you know, 200 people that you knew. So That was pretty cool. So I hope you guys enjoy it. This episode took me about a month to get together. I don't know anything about video editing, never even opened up Photoshop before in my life, so it's still probably a very primitively edited video. Just try to bear with me. I'll get better, I promise. But yeah, so enjoy. Hey guys, so I'm at the airport in Munich and I've been here for about 4 hours. It's noon and I got here just before 8 o'clock, so I was downstairs sleeping, and basically the last couple of days have been so hectic I didn't get a chance to kind of really record any of like my prep for Dakar, so we'll just kind of go along as we get there. But as you can see, my hair is a lot different. I'm hoping this will help me with like preparing at night and shit, because my hair just dreadlocks. So if I don't have to brush it every night, then in theory it'll just save me about like an hour 45 minutes of getting ready at night, and hopefully it'll just be a lot easier to deal with in the desert. We'll see, because there's a lot here. But anyways, so we have a chartered flight, and on the screen monitors it says Q Motorsport, and I feel super fancy. So I'm gonna go check in and get rid of some of my luggage and have lunch. And yeah, next stop, Saudi Arabia. Now we are at C Camp. C Camp is the very first BVAC. So BVAC, that's what these service areas are called if you're German. So I think the Brits call it a bivouac. The Germans, we call it a bivac, and because I was with the German team, that's just how I learned it to be called. So from now on, it's a bivac. If you hear bivac, it's a bivouac, whatever. Bivac. Anyways, so the first bivac, this is C Camp. We are here for about 5 days. So before we actually showed up to C Camp, we did get to stay one night in a hotel in Yanbu. And after waking up, I thought that maybe I just kind of had a dry throat given the environment, so I kind of brushed it off. But it wasn't until the next morning, the first night staying in C Camp, that I realized that I actually was in fact very sick. Most of the team actually ended up getting sick this whole trip. One of the guys actually even had to stay the night in more or less like the infirmary, just to be monitored. He ended up getting, I think, bronchitis or strep throat or something, but he lost his voice like the last week we were there. Everybody at one point, like, you were very lucky if you didn't get sick this trip. So like, lots of sickness. So you'll hear squeaky voices, nasally sounds, you know, coughing, all that crap throughout the video. So shit happens. What are you gonna do? So anyways, yeah, so C Camp, we are here for about 5 days. The reason why we're here for so long is, you know, we need to get set up, go over the cars. As much as we put into the workshop before the cars left, there was still a lot of work to be done. All in all, X-Ray brought 7 Yamahas, I think 2 Mini Coopers, 2 buggies as part of the Mini Cooper team. Then there were the 3 electric Audis. So there was a lot of work to be done, and so we still needed to do some touch-ups and last minute bits on the cars. So we spent a couple days doing that, and it was a big push to get those done to be ready for shakedown. So you'll see some shakedown runs. Honestly, I think that's some of the best footage that I got of the cars actually running, but they're not racing, so yeah, there was shakedown and then some more touch-ups. You'll see us kind of messing around in the car at night. That's after we did some touch-ups, going on test drives. I think that's about it. Yeah, then the start of the race happens, so enjoy. I've been standing in line for 2 hours just to get a SIM card. It's fucking crazy, but this is somewhat the center of town at Sea Camp. I don't know what to think so far, to be honest. I haven't made it very far, but yeah, here we go. It's 2:30 in the morning, the first night. The cars still had a lot to do, and I'm jet lagged, so I'm wide awake. It's 7:30 in the morning. It's time to go to sleep. Fuck. The David suit, you know? We finally made it to shakedown. At this point, I think we're running on 1 hour of sleep in the last 2 days. Thankfully in Yanbu, I was able to get about 12 hours of sleep. It took me 2 days just to get to Saudi Arabia from the US. So luckily that was able to prep me for staying awake for 2 days. And then being sick on top of that, that was just super awesome. I think this is some of the best footage I got of the entire trip, just because this is the only chance that I got of the cars in action. So I hope you enjoy it. It's actually really cool to look at, to me anyways. The shakedown area was about an hour from Sea Camp. And, you know, I think most people, when they think of Saudi Arabia, they think sand dunes and all this stuff. So I still have not yet seen sand dunes at this point. And I was wondering where the hell these sand dunes were. But yeah, no dunes yet. But some really cool footage.
Very concentrated.
Race day. We finally made it. So we're going to watch the start. Thank baby Jesus. I think we're on about 6 hours of sleep in the last 4 days. Yeah.
العام النهائي اللي فيها توب على سيارة EX Sport شفر سعر 5000.
These are press vehicles.
These are press vehicles.
Press vehicles with roll cage, with buckets all round, with spare wheel, with jack, with front runner, roof rack, jerry cans, high lift, off-road tires.
These are for Carlos Sainz, huh?
Fully modified.
Yeah, okay. That's cool. Let's have a look.
And they have plenty of them.
Yeah. That's cool.
Look at this one. Frames, they have frames here. They have crates, they have a box.
Oh, cool. If this is any indication of how little sleep we have gotten over the last 3 days, look, look, look. The first official fucking day, and I learned that apparently before they go out on the start that they actually get to basically have like a little tiny like opportunity for services. So before the cars start, if there's like maybe an electrical issue or something, or like I don't know, basically it just allows the mechanics some time to like wipe down the car again. The engineers to do a little bit more tuning, piano playing is what we call it on the computers. So yeah, we're just getting ready to do that now, and after this little quick service, it's about 40 Ks from here, the real shit starts. I have a question. Explain the marathon. What is this? Because I was given the driver's clothes and tents, and they say for the marathon they need this, so make sure they get it. But I don't even know what this is.
The marathon is so one long stage, which actually are 2 stages, with one night that they don't have assistance, they don't have anything, they are alone.
Okay.
The organization prepare a camp, but they have to put up the tent, they sleep in a sleeping bag, no assistance, no motorhomes, no mechanics.
So that's why they had their sleeping bags and stuff in the workshop and they were putting their tents up. Aha! Okay.
If they break a car, they have to repair the tents.
Okay, because I thought the tents was just something like in case the car broke down in the middle of the desert and they had to stay the night. But then I was like, it's 2022, we have satellite phones, this is not necessary.
Yeah, no, but it also happens.
Oh, yeah?
And it's very cold. Maybe
This is true.
You need to
Okay.
wait the assistance or the ballet truck.
Yeah.
It arrives 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay,
So you spend the night in the desert and you can freeze.
Okay. So then before they leave for this marathon, that's when they need to make sure they get their shit. Okay, cool. Don't fuck up.
So unfortunately, we got the news that the girls rolled the car. They were both okay. It was a pretty big one. There was just a random kind of like a little bump in the road that they didn't see, and the last photo of the car, I wish I had it to share with you guys, but it's the car and you just see the back of it up like this. And so the girls were saying that they hit this ghost bump and it just kicked the ass of their car up and it just went, I think 3 times. So luckily they were okay. Lisette actually ended up breaking her finger, but otherwise that was the worst of the injuries, thank God. We spent the night stripping the car for spares. This was the first stage. And the team thought that it was maybe in its best interest to not fix the cage and keep it more or less on the back burner for some spares, because we still have 2 weeks of racing left. So unfortunately, that put the girls out of the race. It's kind of a shame, definitely a damper on my day, but I did get moved to a different car, so the adventure continues.
So when the car wrecks like this and they're on the stage, do they have to wait for everybody to go through before they can recover the vehicle? Or at least at that point, do they have to wait, or can they pull it off?
They can pull it off with a T5 truck.
Okay.
But the problem is that the T5, it's not on their own. I mean, it's not just for that car. They need to give service to other
Right. So basically, if we use this truck, then in theory we are taking a potential service truck from the other teams as well. Shit. Okay.
We finally get to leave our bivouac area. We were there for more or less like a full work week. I was ready to see something new. So I was really excited. Like, I'm looking for sand dunes, couldn't see any sand dunes yet. But so our first bivouac move, it seems like, I think on average we would spend about 2 or 3 days at each bivouac, and when we had to transit, it was great because we knew that was like our guaranteed rest time. Like I said, we've been working all through the night, so the time to sleep was in the vans, unfortunately. you know, I was kind of expecting to see some more dunes at this point. Still no dunes yet. I had my first run-in with the police. There was a lot of concern about me being a woman going to an event like this, especially with like tattoos on my hand. But in the end, like, it was fine. We more or less, like, the entire race, like all of the teams, we all move from place to place, right? So we all travel as one giant group around this country. So there wasn't even time to wear like regular clothes. I was in uniform the entire time. But our first roadside service, so that's what's cool still about Dakar, is we still get to work on these cars on the side of the roads. Granted, it's not a huge full-blown service, just some tweaking here and there, but it was cool being on the side of the road servicing these cars and then having all of the other race cars go by. But there was one point where, you know, they wanted coffee and cigarettes, you know, so I palled around a lot with my co-driver Lisette and our physio Sean. So us girls, we kind of, within like a 500-meter distance, kind of bounced across the street looking for coffee. The boys wanted cigarettes, whatever. And one of the girls noticed that as we were bouncing around, we were being followed by a police officer. It made her very nervous, but I think I realized, like, in the end, given the nature of how this country treats their women, I don't necessarily think that he was there to like catch us doing something bad and scold us, but you know, the World Cup was just in Saudi Arabia, and then there was Dakar, and these are super high coverage events. And so I think, if anything, the police officer was more there just to protect us and just make sure nothing happened, because I have a feeling that if something happened to a competitor during an event like that, it would not be good for that country, you know. Yeah, that was it was definitely interesting. My experience was definitely different in that country, especially when you're hanging around with two other girls. You know, anytime we would go into public, like, cameras were in our face like we were just walking circus show. I don't know if it's because we had uncovered faces. We were all blonde, more or less. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but it was pretty interesting. There was at one point in the trip where I went to go get out and use the restroom, and I was advised not to because I was wearing shorts. Granted, they were like down to my knees too, like not regular shorts, but yeah, so it was definitely interesting. I would not go there as a tourist outside of an event like that. Let's just put it that way. We're in a little gas station here in Saudi. So we were hoping for coffee and cigarettes, but I think we will have to deal with chips and sweeties. So we're being followed here by the police. This guy, we've gone across the street a couple times, and he keeps following us. So we will see.
for a potty break in the middle of the desert. Honestly, it reminds me a lot of home, to be honest. Oh, it almost looks like it's raining over there, but it's very windy, and so the dust is going everywhere.
And I finally found dunes! This is what I was waiting for, the dunes. You know, like traveling, at first you're in these giant beautiful mountains and you'd come across these random like palm tree oases, and then boom, you finally get the dunes. And I don't know, like I've been to Pismo Beach, there's a couple little small dunes out in Nevada and stuff, but like I've never seen anything like these dunes. Like this was cool. It was pretty freaking wild to see. I loved it. So you're gonna see a lot of dunes in the video. I'm sorry, take it in, whatever. I loved it. They were absolutely fantastic. So we are leaving a beautiful bivouac, but running on 2 hours of sleep and waking up to the news about Ken Block passing away. To be honest, I didn't really expect it to hit me really at all. Celebrity deaths don't really do that to me. And, you know, to be honest, I only met Ken really once. You know, I've only seen him in the service parks and stuff, but I mean, if we're being real here, the automotive scene's gonna change. And that sucks. Ken was always pushing the limits of what cars can do and showing people what they can do if you just know how to fucking be one with the car. It's shit, you know, you can do crazy shit like this, and it might not be what kills you. So live life to the fullest, seize every chance of fun, freedom, happiness you can, and live life to the fullest. Retiring my first car, this is my new baby. about to head out soon. We got a buttload of rain, like a lot of rain. I think I was the only one that actually brought rain boots. I think they might have giggled at me at first when I came out wearing pink rain boots. But when everyone else is wrapping garbage bags around their legs, it's not so funny anymore, is it? Just kidding. But anyways, we got so much rain at first that we actually ended up having to cancel going to one of the bivacs. There was no way for vehicles to get in and out of it. And on top of that, they had deemed the next stage too dangerous for the motorcycles and the quads to compete in. So they kind of turned it into another like half rest marathon day, you could say. So all of the bigger vehicles went out to compete while the motorcycles and quads stayed behind. And so that, because of that, it kind of messed up like keeping track of where we were supposed to be, because you could no longer follow like the published schedule, because that wasn't a thing anymore. It was also during this time too that I got changed from crews. So my first original car, I was crewing for Mercé Martí and Lisette Becker. Mercé is Spanish and Lisette is from the Netherlands. If I'm not mistaken, I'm so sorry if I got that wrong. So since their car rolled and was no longer in the competition, I got moved from working with my number one Yannick to a new number one, Torsten. Yannick actually went to go help the Mini Cooper boys. So Torsten and I grabbed the reins for we got Annie Seal as our co-driver, an incredible woman, super awesome. And just as equally cool, we have Annette Fischer Quant. I'm sorry, Annette, I don't know which last name to use. So anyways, I did both. But yeah, two awesome ladies with another really, really cool number one. Torsten was very, very experienced in Dakar. He's been doing it for, I think he said like 20 years or something like that. And Annie, the co-driver there, she's Swedish. She used to compete on her motorcycle. And so between Annie and Torsten, they were telling me some really amazing stories of Dakar back in the day. And it kind of made me feel stupid for complaining about maybe the lack of sleep, the conditions. I think at one point Annie was telling me that in order for her to take a bath back in the day, she literally had to roll around in like a horse trough with like this much water, just like roll around, rinse off, and like that was it. No hot water, nothing. So like it was pretty wild. But yeah, so that is this part of the episode.
All night last night, so I spent the day sleeping, taking a nice long hot shower while no one was in there. So hopefully the girls keep the car together today and it's not another late night, but I still probably have another couple hours before they get back. I've gotten about 5 hours of sleep, so I'm gonna go back to sleep and see how much sleep I can get. I've been told that you basically sleep when you can, so that's what I'm doing. I didn't go to sleep until about noon today. Super fun. What it's like being a woman in Saudi. I can't use the bathroom. Yeah. Because I don't have pants on. Welcome to the bathrooms in the Middle East. Oh my god. So I've realized that around the corner, it's you wash your feet, nah? So yeah, when you splash on your feet, you wash them off there. So because we got so much rain a couple days ago, the service area that we were, or the bivouac we were supposed to be in, was actually moved, more or less canceled because it was completely flooded. So we are in Riyadh now a day early, if I'm not mistaken. They also more or less have canceled the stage tomorrow. Today is the 6th, I believe. So we will be doing about 100K of like more or less a special stage. And then the cars will come in for their service. And then they will do the marathon. It's sleep day and I'm so excited. Thank you, Torsten, if you're watching this. I really fucking needed this. I fucked my fingers up last night. I think I'm just getting tired, you know, so I need to catch up on sleep. So my number one left me to sleep while he went to the 2-hour service. He's dope like that. Thank you, Torsten. And I think I'm gonna go back to sleep. I might read a chapter in my book, but other than that, more sleep. I'm gonna take all day to sleep. And then I'm gonna kick ass, and then Torsten can sleep, and I can be his hero, or not, whatever. Anyways, this fucking shit is way tougher than I thought it was gonna be. I'm getting my ass handed to me. It's just the lack of sleep, to be honest. Like, the work is fine. The sleep part, I think I don't know. I think I'm maybe a bit of a prissy little sissy lala. Who knows? Oh, today is a good day. It's the rest day. I think I slept about 12 hours yesterday. It was fucking beautiful. I woke up around 2 a.m. Some of the boys were up having a good time, so I was up for about 4 or 5 hours socializing, went back to sleep again for about another 4 hours. So I am enjoying it while it lasts. We are halfway through. I have a good recharge, and I'm fucking ready now. So Carlos has been my good informer of how this shit all works. And we came over here because there's some American riders, but basically he explained to me that this area is what was formerly called as Malay Moto. And so Malay is French for box. And so if you have a look, there are boxes, hang on, stand by. So these boxes here, sorry, my fingers messed up. This box, each bike has their own box. And so each rider repairs their own motorcycles. They can bring friends, but the friends can't touch the bikes. Fellow riders can help service the motorcycles, but nobody else. There are no physios, no nothing. So when they get off of the stage and they complete their liaison, they have to fix their bike. They maybe go take a shower real quick and then they get to work. So there was 28,
27 and 19 left.
and we have seven days left, I think. Yeah, 7 days left. So These guys are fucking badass.
So I got really excited to try to tell you guys about this Malemoto class. I kind of forgot to explain the actual boxes. So the Malemoto class is now, it's got a new name. It's called Original by Motul. But, so the boxes, I just wanted to explain the boxes. I think it's an 80-liter box. I have it written down somewhere. Yes, so everything from personal belongings, spare parts, some tools can all go in these boxes. And then the event actually will transport this box for the competitor, as well as a couple other things, spare wheels, spare tires, but they're limited to literally one set of spare wheel, one set of spare tire. They will also transport for the competitor one tent, one travel bag, and then as part of Motul's contribution, they do supply things in the BVAC area to kind of help out the competitors a little bit, because like I said, they're on their own. I'm pretty sure that the only reason why they have someone there with them is solely to make sure that their equipment gets from one BVAC to the other. They can't even set up the tents. So Motul will provide for them in the BVAC like their bike stands, a sleeping mattress, what else do they got? Like bike covers, a survival blanket, a 100-liter travel bag, a waterproof backpack, a hygiene kit, and one headlamp. So it's very minimal, and yeah, like this class is just wild. I also learned there has never been an American to finish the Malemoto class. So get your shit together, America. Let's do this.
Counting down the days. We have 5 more days left-ish. Luckily I'm more or less rested and ready to finish out the week and go home.
So I'm currently in our van. I couldn't even tell you what BVAC we're at right now. It's the one after Riyadh and the rest day. It's so fucking windy, and the cars are supposed to leave at like, start leaving at 5, so our car probably won't leave until about 6 or 6:30. So it's 3:30 now. Cars probably won't be here for another couple hours, so I'm gonna try to get a good nap in. It's windy as hell, hence the headband. My ears are very sensitive to the wind. But yeah, it's gonna be a tough night, but luckily we have about 500K transit tomorrow, so I'll be able to sleep in the van again. Unfortunately, Lisette, my original co-driver, is not traveling with us anymore, but fortunately that does open up a seat in the van so I can have a little bit more room to kind of spread out and one less person to fight over a fucking window seat. So I'm going to take a nap and then get to it.
touch. And it's tiny. It's tiny.
Next little section is like really cool to me. So when I was working in the WRC, I never actually got to meet her, but there was a female mechanic that was working for M Sport. I tried following her on Instagram, but she never followed back. So Dakar was my first experience actually being able to interact like in the moment, in the event with other female mechanics, and it actually turns out that these two ladies crewed for the original woman that I was working with, Marseille. So we kind of had a little bit of a common interest there, and so we were able to just kind of hit it off right off the bat. But so the blonde girl that you see in the video, her name is Iona Hernandez, and the brunette is Jessica Nebra. They are both from Spain. Super awesome girls. You know how sometimes women can be with each other. I was a little nervous, and they just immediately embraced me. They were super awesome, cool girls. If you can, go find their Instagram, Iona Hernandez and Jessica Nebra. So yeah, go find them.
But you know, I was only one day. Last night was the first night I couldn't fucking sleep because it was so goddamn cold. But yeah, here we are. 4 days left. 3 more services. We have a marathon tomorrow. We got like a 500k transit today. I couldn't sleep for shit last night. We went to bed at like 2:30, almost 3 anyways, and then we're up again at 6, but no sleep. And not because of the cars this time, so. It was brutal. It was fucking brutal last night. We're off to the bathroom again.
The empty quarter is the last more or less memorable BVAC. We were without Wi-Fi for 3 days. I don't know, 4 days. However long we were there for. We had no Wi-Fi. So there was like cars of like 5 people like going out and like driving to go get Wi-Fi. Some people actually left the BVAC area. Some people, most people, and like climbed the dunes in the back to get Wi-Fi. It was rumored that they did this on purpose to simulate what the Dakar rally would have been like way back in the day. So while everybody was watching live at home, those of us that were actually there had no idea what was going on unless you had a satellite phone. So that made things very interesting. But you know, we also got to catch up on a lot of sleep, so that was really nice. That also gave us some time to kind of literally go play in the dunes. I saw some teams that, I don't know what they used, but they were sliding down dunes almost like it was snow. It was actually really, really cool. Met some really cool people in the desert with their overlanding vehicles. I also ended up taking my braids out, right where my sunglasses would sit. I don't know if it was just because I don't know how to take care of my braids properly, or I only had one hot shower at this point, so you know, my showering was like in, out, that's it, rinse off, you know, so maybe I was just the dirty kid, who knows. But I took my braids out, gave my hair like a normal shower. So yeah, the girls rolled, and the FIA deemed it not fit to fix. So you know, it was unfortunately, luckily they were both okay, but you know, that's racing, so c'est la vie.
pretty sore, so this will be another factor, and so maybe we will continue, maybe not. In the meantime, I will enjoy the time barefoot with my homie Carlos, and we will play in the dunes a little and get to work at around 1 o'clock.
And then it was dark. I said, okay, let's camp here.
Yeah, I'm with the X-Ray and the Yamaha.
Hi, baby.
No, I mean, maybe I need it.
So this is my kind of woman. She is traveling in this truck alone for 2 years and just driving around the world more or less. And the best part, barefoot while she fixes trucks. This is my favorite. I love this. My husband always gives me a hard time when I have no shoes and I work on the car. Where are your shoes? I said,
No.
this is way better. I have more grip.
this is the last bivac. We will be finished. The next bed that I sleep in will be in a hotel room. So, thank God. We got a shitload of more rain. Made servicing a nightmare for the boys. But yeah, I think at this point I was definitely very, very happy that it was almost over.
Well, this is fun. Again.
So we are at our last service of Dakar. I've basically been silent for the last 3 days because we've been fucking exhausted and we had no Wi-Fi. So what has happened since then? Unfortunately, Annette and Ami rolled the car and the FIA deemed it not safe to fix. So that is car number 2 for me out of the rally. So that just means I have to come back next year and be on a car that finishes. But yeah, as you can see, we're getting a lot of rain and it's making it a nightmare to work in. But I love it. I just, this is why we do this shit. I don't know, I like being thrown in the shit, so maybe that's easier for me to say because I don't have a car to work on at the moment, but yeah, so that's that. We head to the hotel tomorrow morning and begin our journey back home. It will take me 2 days to get to the US, but I look forward to it.
in the Munich airport. It's 4:15 in the morning, and my flight doesn't board for another 5.5 hours. Could I have gotten a hotel room? Probably. Am I broke? Yes. But I've basically been practicing living like a homeless person for the last 3 weeks, so believe it or not, you know, the bench seats are an upgrade. It's dry. It's not freezing cold. I only have the lull of the, like, little escalator thing here. The occasional police officers monitoring the place. I'd say it's an upgrade from the last 3 weeks of basically fighting in the mud and sleeping on a cot. So I'm gonna try to get some more sleep, and to the US I go. I will trade a window seat for a whole row any day.
So I think by now we're sitting at almost an hour and a half of footage. So I just want to say thank you for sitting with me through all of this. I hope that you have enjoyed my experience. I hope you enjoyed it more than I have, because you got the luxury of having a full night of sleep. I think I only cried once. It was when I was really sick, you know, and I tried to time it so I could get a warm shower, and it was still cold, and I just, like I said, I was sick and tired, and I'm just like, I remember just hunching down in the shower, just like, what am I thinking? And yeah, I totally started crying. You know, but yeah, such is life. Like, that's just when your brain is deprived of sleep, energy, food, whatever. It's amazing what can happen. Like, I at one point was taking a nap in the van. I think there's actually footage of me before going to sleep, and I woke up because I needed to go use the restroom, and on my way back I couldn't find the van. Like, I could find the service area, but I couldn't, like, I was completely disoriented. It was the weirdest thing I've ever experienced. Like, I legitimately couldn't find the van, and my original number one, Yannick, he saw me, and he's like, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm like, dude, this sounds nuts, but like, I don't know where I am. Like, I know where I am, but I don't know exactly where I am. Like, I can't find the van. Torsten's in this van, my other number one, you know, the car's supposed to be coming back in like a half an hour. I can't find the van, can't find my number one. Like, I'm just so exhausted. It was unreal. So that was the weirdest experience. But in this whole process, my super awesome companion there, Carlos, he had suggested that I look into navigating, because apparently it's a pretty big deal to be able to be a good mechanic and a navigator in these styles of rallies. You know, they're week-long events, and each stage, you know, you're out there for 8 hours a day. So it's not just changing a tire or doing a quick fix. Like, sometimes you're literally changing differentials out on the course. So after about a week of being home, I decided to put up an ad, and I have managed to find a co-driving position for the Baja 1000 with a guy named Joe from Utah in his 6100 trophy truck class. So here we go in November, and we'll see you in Baja. But yeah, no, so if you're watching this and you're still if you know anybody looking for a navigator, co-driver, obviously I'm free, so let me know. I would love to get some more experience. I've definitely really taken up a liking to this off-road stuff. I think it's because when I fell in love with rally, you know, we were still doing roadside services, playing around in the dirt, you know, and as cool as WRC was, I think that's what I loved the most was like the test team. You're still thrown in the elements and you're forced to work with what you have, and you know, I think my favorite part of WRC was the test team. You know, the race team, you're in a beautiful 2-story building with like 4-star, 5-star like catered food, and like, yeah, it's cool, but like that's not what I fell in love with, you know. So I got to experience that finally, my first time in my career, you know, competing on the side of a road, you know, in the dirt, in the dunes, in the sand, and just, I loved it. I loved it so much. So I found myself at King of the Hammer shortly after. There will be a small episode on that with the Jesse Combs Foundation. And I have also, on top of this navigating thing, have somehow managed to find a buggy to race and drive for the 2024 season. So needless to say, the off-road bug has bit me pretty hard, and I'm going to do my best to see what I can make of it. Who knows? So thanks for watching, and I hope it's not going to be another month until I get my next episode out, but please stay tuned.